Trains, it's me, Johnny Cash. You know, if your boy's under 10 like mine is, he needs a big Lionel like this Black River Freight. Lionel also makes HO gauge trains for older kids, like this Burlington 181. But for smaller hands, the big Lionel is easier to handle and put on the track. This Christmas, get your boy a train that's built for the way young boys play. A big, rugged Lionel. Lionel, the big train for small hands.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Tommy's Trains. I happened to hit pay dirt this week, and the circumstances upon which I got a hold of these, not so happy. It turns out the individual's wife had a stroke, I guess, and they were trying to get rid of a bunch of trains quickly. I was able to pick up 4 sets for a really good price. First one I want to show you today, and these are brand new old stock trains. This is one I've been looking for a little while, and this is the one Johnny Cash advertised a few times back in the 70s, and this was available in at least 2 different versions. This one here's the one I wanted, which has the cardboard station, the tunnel, the trestle, cardboard train bridge, and telephone poles. The other one I think has no trestle, no cardboard buildings. I think it just has the plastic short extension bridge, and I think it has poles and signs, but the cars may or may not be different, but I'll pull up the catalog and show you regardless. So this right here is the box, and we'll figure out which years this one was available. Pull that up too. So it's been opened as far as this goes, but when we look inside, you can see that the plastic is all still on here. So we'll be the first ones taking this out. And, you know, a little note on that, some people like to keep it like this, I guess, to put it on display maybe. And I'm glad for that, because that gives me the opportunity to get a brand new train set that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to get, that's all intact and has all the pieces, and I'm actually the first one to open it. So while some of you purists may not be happy with me for opening this new old stock train, it's still in its cellophane wrapping here. I'm going to open it and we're going to play with it. So Lionel Buildings, please remove carefully. These buildings, a lot of the stuff, I don't know if any of you ever had Johnny West, but there was a ranch for Johnny West, and Lone Ranger, I think the Lone Ranger city had these. They're like, I always call them milk board, but they may be something, you know, they're like card stock. So these haven't been creased yet. I'm not going to do it. But this folds up into a station. So here's the platform here that folds up with the sides that fold around. The ends, the walls are all here. Here's the roof goes on it. Here's the trestle bridge. You knock out these little pieces in the middle, so we're not going to knock those out. We'll leave those alone. The tunnel here, so it basically just folds around. You can see the creases here where it folds, and then they latch in through here, and these haven't been punched out either, so we'll leave that alone. So here's the train, and this is what it looked like brand new in the box. So here we've got the locomotive, and it's a 240, I believe. We'll find out when we get it out. Still in the plastic inside. A Rio Grande long tender. It looks like an oil tender. We'll find out for sure when we pull it out. And here's our Manumatic uncoupler, the power wires, straight track, your trestle, your stakes for your flat car, signs, telephone poles. It's all in here. And then here's your B&O chassis system, hopper. We got a Burlington gondola, the Republic Steel flat car, and a Rio Grande caboose. And this is the 50-watt Power Max transformer. So again, you purists, you're going to be mad at me, but we're going to open this. And I'll try to do it neatly, so we're not going to make a huge mess out of it. But first time this has ever been opened. So probably pushing 50 years, if not 50 years. I'm just going to set this cardboard stuff off to the side here. This is, you know, you can find some of these, but you're not going to find them probably with all the pieces. And these parts right here are always gone if you do find it. So those are all there. Elastics are still on the train track. Can't believe the elastics haven't dry rotted and just fallen apart. Usually that's the case of what happens, but they're still springy. So 50-year-old elastics that still have this spring to them. That's amazing. There's our curves, all brand new. Not even a speck of rust on them. Here's our straights. We have 4 of them. So I'll throw this track together real quick. This is our Power Max. I'm not going to open up the telephone poles and stuff. There's no need to do that, but here's the basis for the telephone poles. Here's our instructions. There should be, well, this will tell me what year it was right here. 1976-77. Here's our approved service stations for 1976-77. This right here's got a price list on it, so I'll just go through a couple of the prices, and I'll show you this price sheet here. This is, I haven't seen one of these yet, but this came with a complete price sheet of all the things, and let's just see. Steam engines, operating cars, high cube box cars, non-operating accessories, 027 track. I'm just trying to see if there's a train set, so I can just kind of tell you what these went for. HO. Spirit of 76, box car series, billboard reefers, billboard hoppers, high cube, baggage cars, tobacco, railroad cars, standard cars. So I guess I'm not seeing a train set price list. Hoping for that, but let's just look at a dockside switcher, $31.58. A Pennsylvania die-cast steam switcher, $80.92. Chesapeake and Ohio, Hudson, and Tender, new, $138.15. So top of the line Locomotive that I can see here for 1976 was $138.15. And I know I couldn't tell you. I was in 1975, 77. I was 5 years old, so I couldn't tell you what my father made, but I'm going to feel like that was probably at least a week's pay for one train. Not even a train set, just a locomotive. A Canadian National Short Hopper was $6.17. A post office car, $17.27. That was the most expensive operating car. O-scale building kits, the engine house was $14.80. Operating accessories, let's see, a banjo signal, $19.12. It's crazy. That's pretty neat. I haven't seen one of these yet. Here's our operating instructions for this set. Ask an adult to plug in your transformer. These instructions were for several sets, and this one has 12 train sets. There's the instructions for it. I can't think of a year in the catalog where they actually had 12 train sets for sale, so I don't know. How to build a great railroad color catalog. This is a Lionel Fundimensions catalog, and this is different than the actual train catalog. This is just a little accessories booklet. And here's your train layout here, that's a neat with the over and under in one spur with a log dump. So that's kind of a cool set. It gives you some over and under actions and a little bit of switching action. So here's our wires here and our lock on. So the Power Max transformer. Look on the back, it says Made in USA, Mount Clemens, Michigan. This one has the plastic over one of the terminals on it, so you can't electrocute yourself very well. Alright, so there's no point in taking these apart. We don't need to do that. Here's the trestle. There's no point opening this bag, but you can see it's all in there. Here's the stakes for the car, the flat car. We won't take those out. The Manumatic. The signs look like they're kind of falling off the T a little bit. The sprues, but we won't finish taking them off. Just your standard railroad signs. There's quite a few of those. Telephone poles, we won't open that one either. I think there were 10. I'll look on the box and I'll get back to you on that. So we'll take the train out. We'll go put this, I got a 4x8 set up, and we'll go take a look at that and see how that works. Here's our locomotive. Not super heavy, really pretty light. Alright, let's take a look at this train locomotive. Got a piece of tape right here on the bell, so we'll take that off and put the bell on. It's kind of neat that it's actually separately applied. Usually you don't see that very much. Sometimes you find these used and like the whole boiler nose is gone. The trick is to put this on without snapping it off because it goes in really tightly. I'm afraid I'm going to break it, so I'm not going to force it. But that's how it goes. I'll put some soap on it or something. Looks like 19.778 ounces, 1.236 pounds, 560 grams. So it's really light. I'm kind of shocked how light this is, to be honest with you. So taking a look at this, you get some pretty good detail in here. The rods are metal. This whole, that's what it is. Usually they're cast iron. But this is all plastic, so the whole boiler, this whole shell is plastic. That's what threw me. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So instead of a die-cast train, it's a plastic train with die-cast wheels. The gears feel like plastic, so I think you got plastic gears in here. Here's your pickups. This should have a pull-more motor in it, I believe. Pull more motor, engineered to last a lifetime, tremendous pulling power, smooth startups, quiet running, self-lubricating, built for dependability and durability. So this is a starter set. This is an introductory set. And this is one of those things where they try to pack a lot of accessories into one little package for, somebody starting out. So this is definitely a decent starter set. It's kind of interesting to me they gave you a trestle with a train that weighs a pound. It really feels like it weighs less than a pound, but that scale doesn't lie. So we don't have any details on this train that are sticking out other than the bell. So again, this is great for 4 or 5 year old kids probably with adult supervision. They could grab this and put it on the tracks, and if it falls off, you're not going to break anything other than probably the bell. These are one of those trains you can pick up and put on the tracks pretty easily. It's just one set of pilots. We'll give that a try here in a few minutes. Here's our tender. There's your chug. I figured out how to put beans in a roller. This one does not look like a whistle tender. Headlight, trestle set, chugging sound, road signs, telephone poles, full color bridge, tunnel, and station. So this one does not have smoke. Does it have a headlight? Did I say headlight? Yeah, it does have a headlight. So no smoke, no whistle. The tender actually feels almost as heavy as the train itself. 8 ounces, almost 8.1 ounces. So this is pretty light too. It does have die casts. The trucks are die cast, the wheels are die cast, and it does have fast angle wheels on the tender. I mean, this is not super heavy, but it is an oil tender. I can see the hatch here, and there's your water, so it's an oil tender. I think that was pretty common on like some of the western railroads, considering they had all the oil. Now, what's interesting to me on this one is it has die-cast trucks and wheels on it. So instead of the plastic wheels like the other train we looked at had, this one is die-cast. I've noticed in some of these that the trucks are really floppy, and it probably could be fixed if I just took these rivets out and put some truss screws through there. I don't think that would be a big deal to do that, because it's just a pop rivet through the top with a spike on it, and I think we could probably put some graphite in there and in a washer, and we'll try that on one of these cars here in another episode, just to see what we can do to improve that, because it's really, I mean, that's really sloppy, but regardless. So the ladders on these don't extend down past the bottom of the chassis, so it's easy to turn these around, and this was built in January of 75. Public steel. Okay, this one's plastic. So we'll try this one and see what this one weighs real quick. We'll just do ounces. So 6 ounces. And this one right here has got all plastic wheels, plastic trucks. This one has an operating coupler on one side, which is typical of MPC. So we do have one operating coupler with the plunger. It's like a thumbtack on there. And so the magnet on the uncoupler pulls that thumbtack down. This one right here is different. This one you need the main pneumatic because it's got like a little hook on there. So it does have one operating coupler, but everything is plastic on it. And this doesn't weigh anything. 2 ounces. So probably with the stakes on, and I guess you could put a load on it, maybe a couple Matchbox cars, add a little bit of weight. Super light. It does have a separately applied brake wheel. That's cool. This one is molded in. So far we got a decent engine, an okay tender. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably a 7. Once I fix the wheels, it'll be good. So that's pretty good there. Let's see the caboose. Caboose has metal trucks. Again, we have the thumbtack plunger. And my biggest complaint about MPC cabooses is they only have one end of the caboose has a coupler on it. So this could be fixed also if you just got another truck. Pop out that rivet, put a truss screw in there, you'd be in business. 5.5 ounces. This train's not very heavy. The cars can't be very heavy. So there's some sense here in why these are so light. And here's our Burlington, built 170. So by 76, 77, they had some cars on the shelf they were putting in here. This was built one of 76, one of 75. By 75, 76, they had some stock on the shelves, so they were just pulling rando stuff off. This car is really light. We do have one operating coupler with a little shoe on there that only the main pneumatic is going to uncouple, or the tab on it. 3.5 ounces. So we're pulling 25 ounces, 1.56 pounds altogether. So almost a pound and a half, going behind a Locomotive that again weighs 1.2 pounds. we're actually pulling more weight than this train has, and it doesn't have any traction tires on it. So pulling it up that hill, might be a little bit of a struggle. And while I've got this right here and the stuff out, I'll just put a little bit of heavy oil and lightweight oil. So we'll put just a little bit on the gear in here while we got it out. This is one of those things you don't need to put much. A little bit goes a long way. And fortunately, this is one of those motors that doesn't lock up when you're not putting power to it, so you're not going to strip a gear doing this. And you just put a little bit on there, and when you rotate these, it'll work it in. And then we can just drop a little bit right in here, just a little bit in the tips of that axle where it goes through, because we have a lightweight engine, so we don't want to overload it. We want to give it every opportunity it's got to do well, and we'll put a little bit of the lubricant in these rods. Interesting, these side rods only connect to the rear wheels. It looks like it connects to the front ones, but it doesn't. So they saved a little bit of money there by only having one rod instead of two. You should have at least hooked on or two rods going to there, but it's only got one. So they saved a little bit of money there. Then we got these two little canisters. They don't even have any markings on them. They're just the canisters. So we have no windows on the caboose, no lighting. About as cheap as they made them. You could improve this. One of the easiest ways to improve these is first of all, you can just swap the shell off with something else, or you can, if you don't have all those pieces, you can take the shell off. You can spray the inside with like a black flat paint, put some cellophane over the windows. That would improve it a little bit. Sometimes people glue figures in there, so it's a good canvas to start with. It can always be improved upon, but it won't be too much of a chore to do that. So I think the best car in this whole deal is this chassis system Hopper 9016. So we could fix this one pretty easily to make it a decent car. For, let's say, in 1976 I was 4 years old, 77 I was 5. If I'd have gotten this, with my dad or one of my brothers to play it with me, this would have been top notch, I think. I would have been really happy with this train. So we'll take it down and we'll give it a shot on the tracks and see how it runs. Appreciate watching this episode of Tommy's Trains, where we pulled out the train set that I've been looking forward to getting for a long time and just trying to find it in this condition. I don't want to buy train sets that need work. If I'm going to buy, I'm at the point now where I only want, I want to say pre-2005 trains, because everything seemed to get really crappy after that. So pre-2005, and I'm right now I'm into this MPC thing, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because that's what was on the shelves when I was a kid, so I probably would have seen these, or my friends would have had them. In fact, my friends did have these trains, not this one in particular, but we've talked about some of the ones they had. So MPC is kind of where I'm at right now, so most of the stuff you're going to see coming out of me in the near future is going to be MPC. So I'm only looking for stuff that's in the box, and preferably new old stock, because I want to share it with you. I want to share the experience of opening these with you and testing them out. I don't want to buy some yard sale crap that's broken. That's not where I'm at. So anyway, appreciate you watching another episode of Tommy's Trains, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.